Hi, everyone. We're going to get started here. My name is Elizabeth Swanson. I'm NCCO's Vice President, and I'm the Associate Director of Choral Studies at CU Boulder. It's a pleasure to see so many of you with us today and to be talking with a panel about job searches, what to do during COVID-19 if you're on a tenure and promotion track, and then there are other administrative considerations that we're going to take into account. So I just want to say welcome. So pleased to have you with us, and a quick shout out to Miguel, who is behind the scenes doing everything for these webinars that NCCO is doing. So thumbs up, Miguel, thank you so much. Okay, so today's webinar is a little different from the first three that we've had. The first three have been very student-centered about how we're moving teaching online. And now today we're going to be branching off and talking about implications, possible implications that the COVID-19 virus is going to have on career paths. Of course, there are a bunch of unknowns, and we are really here as a community of colleagues to talk through some possible solutions and maybe provide answers. Nobody on the panel, and certainly myself included, claims to be an expert here. We're here to just share ideas. Without further ado, I would love to introduce the panel to you. I'm going to say each person's name and their title. I'm going to ask them to say a quick hello, unmute and hello. So we're going to start with, we have Rollo Dilworth joining us. He is the Vice Dean at the Center for the Performing Arts and Cinematic Arts at Temple University. He's joining us from Philadelphia.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Looking forward to connecting with everyone who's participating.
Hello, hello. We have Kellery Dower, who is a Dean of Fine and Performing Arts, joining us from Santa Ana College in Orange County, California.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
I hope that's a real background. Mariana Farah is the Associate Director of Choral Activities at the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today.
And finally, we have Michael Hannawalt joining us as the Director of Graduate Choral Studies at Florida State University. He's joining us from Tallahassee, Florida.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to it.
Hi, so you can see we have 4 time zones represented here. So I want to start off just by getting right into it, some anxieties that many of us are probably feeling in terms of just job search and jobs. I thought we would start with an administrative perspective. We have 2 deans on our panel, and we have 2 deans that are also choral directors and educators. So we're really fortunate to have those perspectives. I think I'm going to just toss things over Rollo's way to ask, like, how are things going administratively? How has life changed? What is happening right now for you, Rollo?
Thanks, Elizabeth. As with everyone, I'm sure they have stories about how challenging it's been in order to, first and foremost, convert all of their teaching and learning activities to an online format. Certainly, we have been really concerned about student care and making sure that they are in places where they can comfortably engage in the teaching and learning process and be successful. That's not the case for all of our students. We have international students who could not go back home. So there are a lot of challenges out there. I think we've yet to really fully understand and comprehend what the budget implications are going to be at our university, and I'm sure that's a big question mark for a lot of institutions of higher education or institutions, period. Budget cuts are likely at my institution, and I think that's going to be the case for most places. And of course, that's going to have an effect on hiring. It's going to have an effect on the amount of music you might be able to order for your department. It may have an effect on the number of teaching assistantships down the line. So there are a lot of financial implications that have to be thought about, especially when it comes to tenure-track positions. Some of us in the choral field are settled where we want to be, but we have obviously many colleagues who are looking to move up in their job opportunities. Some are trying to move out of a DMA program. So these are going to be very challenging times. And I think that we're going to have to look very carefully at where the priorities are moving forward, and how we can be of help to our students first and foremost, and how that's going to impact budget and hiring and accounts for activities and materials and so on.
Thank you so much, Rollo. I also want to get Kellery's perspective as a dean at a two-year college in California. Kellery.
Right. So we're facing many of the same types of challenges that the four-year universities face, same kinds of things. Budget-wise, we expect probably to get some support from the state with regard to sort of backfilling any issues that we might have that would have impacted our enrollment. Some of the bigger issues I think we're having is trying to find ways to continue to recruit for performance-based courses in this environment, and how that might impact positions down the line, and whether or not we plan for when we have retirements, if that's going to impact whether or not we fill it with the same type of position, or if we change it to something that's more appropriate for now or for the whatever future. We don't even know what that's going to look like. So those are some of the things that we're looking at, particularly at the two-year college level, because as if you're at a two-year college, you know that you get a different group every semester. So, and that impacts your ability to figure out, what next. So those are the kinds of things, and for me, for sure, how to support faculty through this process has been a bit of a challenge, because we don't all know what the needs are yet. I think we're all figuring them out as we go with the RIT tip cane. So, so those are some of the things that we're kind of looking at as well with the two-year level.
Yeah, it's indeed a time of great transition, and more will be revealed, each day that we move forward. I'd love to just jump into the mentor's perspective. Michael is the director of graduate studies and has quite a few DMA students who are now entering into the job market. So how are you advising your students, Michael?
So the world has changed obviously a lot in the last 3 weeks or so, in certain situations that maybe made sense for people a few weeks ago and really no longer make sense, and decisions and all of that kind of thing. And the thing that we've been telling our graduate students are, number one, get really good at Zoom interviews and video interviews. This is the means by which some of them might get a position next year. Get really good at appearing engaged and interesting in front of on Skype and all of those types of things. That's a really practical thing. The other thing is just adjust expectations going forward. We had a student that was offered a job prior to all this happening, and turned it down. And then a couple weeks later, luckily that position was still open and was re-offered it, and they instantly jumped on it and took it. And that was, in my estimation, completely the right thing to do. I think people are going to have to be patient, and basically, if you're offered a job, you have to take it. And even high school positions are things that some of the DMA people coming out of programs maybe didn't feel like they wanted to consider or hold out for a bigger job. I think they're probably going to have to adjust and make sure they get employment for next year. My sense moving forward is that whatever job somebody gets, if they took a high school position for a year going forward, this whole year is going to have one big asterisk on it, I think. And the extent to which trying to get back into academia in the future, I don't think that will be looked on in the same light as it was before. I think everyone is going to understand that this was a strange year and view future applications accordingly. So we've been trying to adjust expectations and prepare people for this, new paradigm of interviewing as well as we possibly can.
Thank you. And I know, Rollo, you have some advice as well for folks who are just entering into the job search process.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think that one of the things that's going to perhaps help newly minted DMAs and DMAs that are in the making As they think about this new job market, it might be important to, of course, your focus might be conducting or choral conducting specifically, but I would encourage all DMAs in programs right now to expand their educational horizons. Think about a cognate area, think about a concentration area, think about a certification area, whether that's something like music theory, history, an applied area, ethnomusicology, I wrote some down here, even things like women's studies or technology, or even a certificate in online teaching. Find ways of making yourself more marketable so that you will stand out above the rest, especially if you are applying to maybe more of a liberal arts college where choral music may not be the only thing that you would end up teaching. You may have to teach some sections of theory or some sections of voice or piano, whatever your applied area may be. I think this will increase your marketability. Also, I think we have to be realistic about the current job market, knowing that the stock market has not performed so well in the last few weeks. There may be more seasoned college professors who are going to stay on maybe a few more years than originally planned, just because they want to fortify their stock portfolio a little bit more and maybe regain some of those losses. That's what happened actually 2007, 2008. There was this huge bubble in which a number of senior level professors stayed on for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because they needed to financially recoup, which means that that's one less job opportunity for someone who is, coming out of a DMA program. So I think Michael's advice is great. Find a job that may work for you, even if it's not the ideal job. Maybe it's in secondary education, and grow where you're planted until the opportunities began to surface again.
Wonderful advice from both of you. Thank you. I just want to